Tonight, the Yorke Peninsula Field Days spring into life in Baskerville and dealing with dementia, the personal story of one Whyalla nurse inspiring others living with the disease.
This is Southern Cross News with Fraser Goldsworthy.
Good evening. The biannual Yorke Peninsula Field Days have rolled into Baskerville, showcasing the very best of our state's agriculture industry. This year, the event is celebrating its 122nd year, making it one of the oldest field events in the nation.
It's a decades-old tradition for our region and it's back bigger than ever. Thousands of people are expected to flock to the field days over the next 3 days to see the latest in farming technology, including this invention designed to reduce injuries in what's arguably one of the most labour-intensive jobs on the farm.
It eliminates catching and dragging sheep and actually being physically involved in handling them.
Also on show, equipment that won't quite fit inside your average shed. This is one of the country's biggest boom sprayers. But with over 700 exhibitors, that's not all you'll find.
They can expect to see so much, whether they're looking for tractors or clothing or just general interest.
This Southern Cross television fashion parade was a hit. Top-end designers using natural fibres to create these stunning outfits. Southern Cross News was also given a view from above to capture just how big the event is.
We anticipate 35,000. We hope perhaps to get more, but sometimes that will depend on the weather. But we're fairly safe with our 35,000.
There'll be no rest for the organisers, already busy gathering a variety of stalls early to benefit the customers for the next Yorke Peninsula Field Days event in 2 years' time. Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Port Lincoln Police say they'll be ramping up patrols after separate vehicle inspections uncovered large quantities of cannabis. Officers will also be targeting drink drivers, with more than 30,000 tests expected to be conducted over the next 12 months.
Cocaine, cannabis and weapons among the latest seizures made by police in Port Lincoln. Patrols uncovered a pound of the commercial drug after searching a car on Flinders Highway. Officers have arrested a 28-year-old man. He's been charged with drug trafficking.
The next day they've attended at his house, searched his house, and at the house they've found a substance we believe is cocaine, and we're currently getting that tested at the moment.
Police believe the drugs are linked with a spate of crime sprees across town.
The drugs are tied in with the house breaks, are tied in with motor vehicle crime. People are breaking into houses and stealing items from houses in order to swap for drugs.
They're adamant they're cracking down on thieves.
We're targeting drug dealers, we're targeting people who break into houses, we're targeting people who break into cars.
Meantime, an approaching long weekend and upcoming summer holidays have prompted police to step up drink driving tests. Police have conducted 11,000 tests so far this year, but expect to triple that number in coming months.
We don't want somebody to have a vacant seat at their Christmas table because someone was foolhardy and stupid and drank and drove and killed themselves or killed someone else.
Police reiterating the message, don't drink and drive.
Don't place your own life in jeopardy or those of other road users.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
Local councils have the opportunity to share in $1 million in funds designed to upgrade regional airports. The Minister in charge says airports are a critical part to the regions and councils should take advantage of the funding to keep them up to scratch.
They may not be the largest in the nation, but regional airports are critical to the communities they serve. Whether it's the Flying Doctor or fighting bushfires, these small airports have big roles to play.
Now, regional airports, small or large, are used for a variety of activities.
$1 million is on offer from the state government through the Support Regional Aviation Initiative. Now in its second year, local councils can apply for support to help keep their airstrips and surrounding facilities in top shape.
The initiative will provide the councils and other authorities the opportunity to secure funding support to upgrade these vital aviation infrastructure assets.
The Air Peninsula flew high last year, with Whyalla, Port Lincoln and Tumby Bay sharing in $600,000. Tumby Bay and Port Lincoln used the money to revamp their runways, and Whyalla installed automatic gates. Minister Brock has written to 19 local councils, urging them to launch their own funding bid.
There's been lots of money being put out there the last couple of years, and again, here's another $1 million, and please, councils, please get in there and apply for that money.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Broken Hill residents are being invited to have their say on what they think should happen with the city's library. The first of 5 focus groups is being held tonight to discuss what to do with the current site going forward.
Build, renovate or leave it as it is. The choice is yours.
So whatever we do, we said that we will be in conclusion with the community, we'll be consulting with the community.
Last month, councillors voted to scrap the library's move to the city's main street in favour of more community consultation. 3 options are now clear.
It may not be about renovating, it may be about building a new site, or maybe don't do anything at all, except put the air conditioner in.
The first of 5 focus group meetings is currently in session at the Broken Hill Library.
We'll be running workshops in October, on the 18th and 24th, in November, on the 13th and the 27th. So what we want to do is make sure that our members of our community have an opportunity to tell us what they think the future of the library should be.
Locals are also encouraged to call, write, email and even inbox the council Facebook page to have their say. A survey will also be launched in November.
If you're not using the library currently, go into our library, experience what it's like, then tell us what you think should happen.
Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
Still to come in tonight's local news, a former nurse shares her personal story of living with dementia. Details next. Welcome back. You're watching Southern Cross News. Police have ruled out 7 suspects in the disappearance of Port Lincoln woman Susan Goodwin as they continue to investigate the case. Detectives have pursued new lines of inquiry since Task Force Lincoln was launched in May. Crime Stoppers has received 52 calls in regards to her disappearance. Tragically, Susan's parents both passed away in recent months without ever learning the fate of their daughter, who went missing in 2002. A nurse who cared for dementia patients is now sharing her experience living with the disease. Locals say her insights are eye-opening, especially given how isolating and debilitating being diagnosed with dementia can be.
At age 49, working mother Kate Swaffer was told she had a rare form of younger onset dementia, a heartbreaking diagnosis. But Ms Swaffer has turned it around, embracing it as a chance to advocate for care.
People with dementia are people first, and the dementia is second to that. I would love to see Port Augusta embrace a community that is accessible and inclusive for all people with dementia.
She's written a book on her experience, is now CEO of Dementia Alliance International. She says those who live with the disease are often isolated and misunderstood.
I think it's a message to family and friends to spend more time with people with dementia.
With patients often restricted to nursing homes and living with family, she's likened her message of inclusion to a scene from the recent movie Hidden Figures.
Actually going and smashing down the coloured women's toilet sign and saying there'll be no more segregated toilets in NASA. Now that's in the 50s. So why are we segregating people based on an illness?
With many coming to the event at Port Augusta's Lee Theatre, the president of the local Narilda Nursing Home fundraising group says this insight is what the community needs to hear.
In just getting the word out to the community to raise awareness is really what this is all about, to ensure people have a better understanding of the impact when dementia enters someone's life.
While dementia still has no cure, Kate believes managing the risk of the illness is the next best thing.
Like we do now with heart disease, with diabetes, I think it's going to be ultimately far more positively managed with risk reduction.
Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
Broken Hill's $30 million health service redevelopment is now one step closer to completion. A developer for the site has been chosen and fencing has been erected around the construction site.
It doesn't look like much now, but in a year's time this will be the home of a new state-of-the-art health facility.
The builder has taken possession of the site in the last few days.
Hutchinson Builders was awarded the tender for the major redevelopment, which includes constructing the new integrated community health centre as well as renovations to the hospital. This artist's impression's a picture of what the centre will look like upon completion.
We've got probably a bit over a 12-month construction period, so at the end of 2018 we would expect the Crystal Street building to be completed.
The Community Health Centre will replace the old Department of Education Training Centre building. It will have a 5-chair dental facility, child, family and community health services, as well as new offices for health district staff.
As of today and over the next few days, the hoardings will start going up, so people will start to see activity on site.
The Broken Hill Hospital upgrades include reconfiguration of the hospital's ambulatory care wing to expand cancer care services and consolidate waiting areas for patients. Construction is expected to begin very soon. Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
After 2 days of touring the region, delegates have completed their first day at the biennial Rangelands Conference in Port Augusta. More than 200 people are attending the 4-day event, and locals are hoping attendees will take home this year's theme of transforming regional communities.
It's an event the region is hosting with pride. The biennial Australian Rangelands Conference is underway, a good part of 240 landholders capping off their first day of regional tours with a mayoral reception. Event organisers hope delegates will learn from our region's story.
The theme of the conference being transition to transformation. You know, Port Augusta comes to mind straight away, where we are a region with a lot of local assets, a lot of great people and strong community. And I think that the other delegates from other places in Australia will learn a lot.
With the backdrop of a local choir group combined with local food and drink at sunset, Mayor Johnson agrees.
I hope they can take away the positive story of the region. We've had a rough couple of years, but now we kind of feel like the ship has turned and we're starting to sail right off into the positive sunset.
He says those attending the conference will see Port Augusta's renewable energy transformation firsthand.
The reality is, over the next 3 days, there's 240 delegates coming from right around Australia that are coming to have a look at Port Augusta and understand the story in which we've transformed, but not just us as a city, but also the Upper Spencer Gulf as a region.
After 2 days of field tours, the conference sessions will begin tomorrow with keynote titles ranging from the changing face of Indigenous managed lands from a local Indigenous leader to coping with drought. It's also hoped local and interstate delegates will learn from each other.
You know, there's some great work occurring in New South Wales and Queensland around transitioning into a new carbon economy in the rangelands. There's some great work occurring in Western Australia around community engagement and really revolutionising the way that organisations work with landholders.
The Rangelands Conference will run until Thursday night. Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
Do stay with us when we return after the break. Hundreds flock to the West Coast for a day on the bay. Energy Australia has announced another community information session for the pumped hydro power plant proposal on Kaltana land. The company says it wants to share the findings of a recently conducted feasibility study into the project. It would take at least 5 years to construct on coastal land between Port Augusta and Whyalla, with the potential to create 12 ongoing jobs with up to 300 positions during construction. The information session will begin on next Wednesday night at Port Augusta's Central Oval. Whyalla school kids are putting the final touches on their performances for the combined primary school's choir. After months of hard work and practice, teachers and students are excited to finally get on stage and perform for locals.
After days of rehearsals, there's just one sleep until this year's Whyalla Combined Schools Choir. Over 200 kids from 10 schools will take centre stage tomorrow and Thursday night.
We all work individually as choir teachers at each school, then we bring them together and we practice at Banyara. And that's where it all folds together.
This year's theme is the classic ballet story, The Nutcracker.
We'll have a little bit of a performing acts as well in between during the songs, so it's going to be quite good.
Ms Alcock says the kids are starting to get excited about the two-night show.
Performing gives them some insight into performing as well, where they can share some of their talents that they have.
Students Talia and Ben are getting excited about opening night, saying the choir is something they love to do.
You get to sing your favourite songs and you get to do a lot of funny and cool dance moves.
I have a lot of nerves, but I'm looking really forward to it because my family is going to be here to support me.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Hundreds have flocked to the West Coast to celebrate the day on the bay. The festival, held over the weekend, is now in its third year, this time featuring 6 local eateries and, as always, showcasing the best of Coffin Bay's world-famous oysters.
The sun was shining, the drinks were flowing as the West Coast flocked to Coffin Bay. Visitors to the coastal town soaked up the long lunch, getting a taste of everything on the menu.
The amazing local food that we have here.
There was one local item visitors couldn't get enough of.
Yum.
Venues from the community worked together to bring the event alive.
We get guys come from all over Australia, and we also get local tourists that maybe not get across the peninsula to Coffin Bay, so they come out and realise what a beautiful gem that it is.
The annual event attracted big numbers, not just in the terms of crowd numbers, but on the menu too. 60 dozen local oysters had to be shucked at each venue, the hard work making it all worthwhile for organisers.
When the weather's good and the people enjoy it, it makes it a great day.
It's been that little bit out of Lincoln, feels like we're having a good day out.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
Time for the weather now, and it's warming up in some areas, Nicole.
Yes, that's right, Fraser. As you can see from this shot in Whyalla, it was a very warm day, perfect near the water. I'll have more details next. Welcome back to the weather now. A mostly fine day across the region, except for a few showers in Port Lincoln. We're pushing closer to the 40s already, with Port Augusta reaching 35, a top of 32 in Whyalla, 31 for Port Pirie, slightly cooler in Broken Hill with 30 degrees, and clear skies in Adelaide for a top of 24 degrees. To the satellite now, patchy cloud over southern parts of South Australia with cool onshore winds is bringing a few showers, mainly in the southeast. On the Gulf waters, winds will be west-norwesterly up to 20 knots, seas up to 1.5 metres, and sunrise just after 6 a.m, sunset getting later now at 6:18. A few more showers on the way tomorrow, reaching a top of 21 in Port Lincoln and Coffin Bay. Still warm in Broken Hill though for 29, with a bit of rain on the way. Looking like we're in for a clear one in Port Augusta for 27, and similar in Whyalla for 26. Looking ahead, showers will see the rest of the week out in Port Lincoln. A bit of a wet day on Thursday in Cleve, but it's clearing up in time for the weekend though. And plenty of sunshine on the way for Woodena, with temperatures around 21 degrees. Much the same weather-wise in Whyalla, clear skies for 21 on Saturday. A bit warmer in Port Augusta, with the mercury tipped to reach 25 Friday. And the odd shower about in Kadina for 19 on Thursday. And sunny weather on the way for Port Pirie, taking us right up until the weekend. The occasional shower in Clare for 16 Thursday before finding up, and looking like it'll be wet over the next couple of days in Broken Hill before the sun comes out. So Fraser, looking like there are a few showers on the way, otherwise a mostly fine week.
See you tomorrow. Thank you, Nicole. And that's Southern Cross News for this Tuesday. Don't forget, you can stay up to date on Facebook and Twitter. You can also drop us an email, localnews@sca.com.au. I'll have updates later on tonight. Until then, see you tomorrow. Good night.